All right. I think today I've got to come down here and be closer to you because I feel like I'm with friends and I really need this today. Can I make a confession? Is that all right? You'll let me do that? I'm absolutely at the end of my rope. I'm desperate. Have you been watching the Vikings this year? They're 2-7. And they're playing the Seahawks today, and they're going to blow them away. I know it. I mean, the Vikes are going to get blown away. It's not good, is it? See where I'm at? I'm at a bad place. Right now, I'm hopeless. Desperate times call for desperate measures. And so I'm reaching out to you with the hope that you'll help me because I can't do it on my own anymore. I'm almost ready to do the unthinkable. You know what that is? I wish you wouldn't have even said that, but it's the truth. Bill said root for the Packers. I'm almost ready to trade in my hat for a green and gold hat, and it would be that's unconscionable. It's unthinkable. I don't care how many people are putting their thumbs up in the back corner there. So I'm keeping my hat on because this is a last-ditch effort for me. But here's the deal. When I was a kid, I've grown up I've been a Vikings fan my whole life. And I'm this close to throwing it away, and this is why I'm reaching out. When I was a kid, Fran Tarkenton was my hero. Remember Fran? Great quarterback. I bought a poster of Fran from Sports Illustrated, and it came in the mail, and then I unrolled it, and it was big, and it was perfect. So what I did is I tacked it up on the ceiling above my bed so that I could fall asleep to Fran and wake up to Fran, and everything would be just fine. And then on the walls, I had posters of Chuck Foreman and Alan Page and Carl Eller and Wally Hilgenberg. You know the greats, Gary Larson. Purple People Eaters, right? And remember those glory days? Remember how good the Vikes were? Whenever you turned them on, you could count on at least a good shot at winning, right? And during those years, they went to 4 Super Bowls. I mean, who cares that they didn't win any of them? At least they were there. We are miles away from that now. And so I'm feeling a little bit desperate right now because back then we had one quarterback you could kind of count on, and now it's a total quarterback controversy. It's not even a controversy, it's a confusion. TQC, total quarterback confusion. That's my lingo. But I'm just trying to make sense of things. So here's what I need. I absolutely, desperately need you. I need you to come alongside me, okay? And I need you. You can email me. You can text me. You can call me. You can come into my office and have coffee with me. I don't care, whatever it takes. But I need you to come alongside me and say, Andy, it's going to be okay. It's going to be, if the Vikes could go to 4 Super Bowls back then, it can happen again. I need a big picture view from somebody, from all of you. And then I almost need you to say, you know what? Don't give up on the Vikes now, but how about the Gophers? Huh? Why don't you root for the Gophers? 2 years ago, they were pathetic, right? Now look they're probably on their way to a major bowl this year, right? I mean, if that could happen to the Gophers in a couple of years, it can happen to the Vikes. Or I need you to say, how about the Timberwolves? Look at them. They're winning. They beat the Boston Celtics by 20 points last night. It was awesome. Root for them. There's hope. Or how about the Minnesota Lynx? Best game in town, right? They just won a championship. How about the Gopher basketball team? How about the Brainerd Warriors? Yes, they're going to the state championship in a couple of weeks. So I need you to show me the big picture and to say if it can happen to them, the rebound can happen for the Vikes too. And then I think I'll be okay, but I need you to prop me up. Is that all right? Can I count on you for that? You seem a little tentative. Like maybe I'm a lost cause. Too far gone? Thank you. I think that was a vote of support and confidence there. All right. That's kind of silly. However, I kind of think that the gospel today has that kind of a spirit to it. It might be about the end of the world, but I doubt it. It might be instead about earthquakes that kind of move through and quake through people's lives. It might be about things like typhoons that hit hit the Philippines and cause people to be desperate and wonder if the world isn't coming to an end because their world seems to have right now. It might be about people's lives in which some people even take their lives. There have been those in the recent days and weeks that have really thrown a lot of people off, kids included, and I know that. It might be about desperation. I think that's what the gospel is about today. It might be about being worried that Jesus isn't there for us like we think Jesus is, because at the moment things feel so heavy, so strong, so desperate. I think that's what the gospel's about. So the spirit of that story can be overlaid on the gospel today. Do you know what people need? Do you know what people who are desperate need? Do you know what people who are hurting and are hopeless need most? Do you know what people who feel like they don't have any strength of their own to give anymore need most? They need people of faith who aren't in that boat at the moment to come alongside them and to say into their ear, do you know what? God has told us that we will never be separated from his love. Have that in your ear and in your heart. And you know what? God has told us that he so loves this world. He doesn't want to destroy it. He so loves this world that he gives his only son to die and to rise so that this world can be redeemed and be strong again and new again. Have that in your ear and in your heart. And you know what? God has told us through the prophets that we people, his creatures, are the apples of his eye. Have that in your ear and in your heart. And then I will walk next to you. And I will help carry you. And I will keep giving you these promises. And I will keep telling you that our God is a God of resurrection. And we'll wait for resurrection together. We'll wait for resurrection together because it'll happen. This world, when it's hurting, needs people who believe that the resurrection is absolutely real. It's real, and it's powerful. And people's lives do turn around, and they are going to be okay. And God is at the center of that, giving you that. That's what God's all about. And when we do this, when God's people who can do this at the moment share this with those who just are really hurting, that's when God's kingdom comes on earth as in heaven. That's when God's kingdom is at work. And resurrection happens. And it happens again, and it happens again. And people see it and point it out and testify to it. And they point to the God of this world who gives us this. This is how the world is redeemed. This is how the world is saved. When God moves through us as we walk alongside each other. Martin Luther was asked one day what he would do if somebody told him that the world was going to end tomorrow. Know what he said? He said, I'd plant a tree. I'd plant a tree. I would expect life. I would do life-giving things in this world. I don't care if the world ends tomorrow. I believe that this world is about life. I'd plant a tree. Do you know what our world needs right now in the Philippines? And in people's hearts in Brainerd and Nisswa and the Gull Lake area and the Brainerd Lakes area? It needs us to be people who plant trees, plant life, and to plant it right directly where people need it most. This is our challenge today. It's a challenge of discipleship and faith. That we trust God so much, and that we trust that his promises are real, and that the resurrection through Christ is absolutely real in every moment, that we will carry that with us and be that for people who need it most. Thanks be to God. Amen.